So we have two jobs tonight. We are watching the Senate floor. We're also looking back on year one of the Trump presidency. It's hard to forget what has often been a revolving White House door of sorts when it comes to who works for the president. Tonight, we sit down with one of the most memorable members of the Trump early team. For the first 6 months of the presidency, Sean Spicer was the face of the Trump administration in the press room, doing battle with the press corps, the cast of Saturday Night Live, and everything in between.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period. Oh, no, hold on. No, at some point, report the facts. The facts are that every single person who has been briefed on this subject has come away with the same conclusion. Republican, Democrat, so I'm sorry that disgusts you. Hold on. I am trying to answer your question, Jonathan, if you can calm down. If the president puts Russian salad dressing on his salad tonight, somehow that's a Russian connection.
Former White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer joins me now. Sorry, we had to
Thanks for
sit
that,
through that. I'm really sorry, Sean. So when you watch that, do you say, gee, I wish I still woke up every morning and walked into that?
Hey, look, it was an honor to do that, but you probably can tell by the look on my face, it's a lot more relaxing having the White House in the background than it is being in the briefing room. I will cherish the days that I had, but it's great being able to watch the briefing instead of give the briefing.
How do you think it's changed? You know, you have a president who really broke the communications mold.
He broke a lot of molds.
There's no doubt that you could go in there in the morning and come up with your message, and you know it's going to be totally different by the time you get off the podium.
That's absolutely right. And I think one of the things, I mean, Donald Trump ran as a change, an agent of change, a disruptor, somebody who's going to come in and shake Washington up. And I think love him, hate him, agree with him on every policy issue or not, there's no question that he's fulfilled that mandate and brought real substantive change to how Washington does business and really fought for the forgotten men and women who he based his campaign on.
You keep in touch?
I do.
What did you talk to him about last time you talked to him?
I told him that I was writing a book. I kept up with him a couple of the issues. Was
he concerned about you writing a book?
No, he knows that. Look, I've always told him that it was an unbelievable honor to serve, but there's a story to be told. And I think one of the reasons that I wanted to write a book was because there's so many of these instances that occurred, and I think people just saw one end of the camera, or a New York Times report, or a Politico report, or some false CNN story. What I want to do is walk back through the campaign, the transition, and say, this is actually what I was going through at that time, and hopefully shed some light on things that people didn't see through the media's slanted lens.
You know, having watched the whole year play out, do you look back and say, well, if I was jumping in there today, I would get it. You know, I would understand the whole thing differently.
That's a great question, because I think that we approached, at least I did, the job from a traditional standpoint, not fully understanding that we had a non-traditional president. And so a lot of the norms and practices weren't what he was about. He campaigned and he said to the American people, I'm going to bring change. And I think we, and me in particular, probably should have looked at the beginning and said, this isn't going to be business as usual. Let's adapt to fit our principle.
So, you know, in terms of the dynamic and the people at the White House, General Kelly has, you know, sort of channeled things differently.
Yeah.
You can't just walk in. You have to have an appointment. There are some stories that say the president doesn't love that arrangement, but he goes along with it, and it has streamlined things. Do you think that Reince Priebus should have been better at organizing who gets in, who gets out, or could he have done that?
Look, I think in hindsight, there's a lot of us that look back, and myself first in line there, saying that we could have done things differently. But it was new. There was so much new, and there were so many personalities and so many things that we wanted to get done, and a huge establishment that we were fighting, never mind a just ferociously negative media corps. So I think it's tough to look back and to say, if I had the hindsight, but yeah, sure, there's a lot of things that if I knew now, we could have done differently. But I think that, you know, even in Sarah's case, she's just doing an absolutely bang-up job. But I think she had the ability to look at a lot of the things that I probably could have done better or do differently, and I think has really embraced the role and taken it to another level.
So now that Steve Bannon is gone, there's discussion that Anthony Scaramucci might come back, and that was one of the catalysts that sent you saying, I'm out of here. Do you think he should go back, that he should get a role again?
That's obviously up to the president to decide, but I think the communications operation right now under Sarah and Mercedes Schlapp and Hope is doing a really good job. They're communicating, as was evidenced with the tax bill. They did a really, really good job. They've done a fantastic job of branding this the Schumer shutdown and making sure that people understood what the president's fighting for and what the president's priorities are in terms of the American people. So I would say keep going with what you got. It's working really well, but at the end of the day, I'll let the president make the decision about what kind of counsel he's going to keep.
Sean Spicer, thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
to see you, Sean.
Good to see you.
Take care.